If your child is sick as a baby with an ear infection, you have like this whole network of other mommies that you call and say, oh, what do I do? Well, when your child has cancer, you don't have anybody to call.
It's sort of an outer body experience. You are unable to control anything that has to do with your child anymore.
We didn't know we were going to the hospital, so I didn't have anything.
Families who come in to our office, often they don't really know what to expect.
Cancer in children is still fairly rare. And unlike when an adult is diagnosed with cancer, it's considered an emergency, and it happens, treatment is immediate. You go from a diagnosis to being in the hospital in an hour, and within 48 hours you're in surgery and starting chemotherapy with your child, which is something that most people, don't even know how to begin to comprehend.
Some families are very fortunate to have blood work done and they get to leave and only return for follow-ups. But there are families who come into our office who are faced with a much longer and much harder treatment ahead of them.
Your child's life is in the hands of people who you are unfamiliar with. You're in a world where you don't understand the language, where you don't know any of the people, you don't know any of the routines, and it's extremely scary.
When these moms and dads, family get this diagnosis, they're just whisked right into the hospital, and that's when I see them a lot of times, and they've just come into the hospital, and you can see this look that they are just blown away. They don't know what to think.
It's totally devastating to have your child diagnosed with cancer.
There is nothing worse than being told that your child has cancer. It's incomprehensible what runs through your head when you hear that your child has cancer. But thankfully, we live in an era that we are able to cure over 75% of children who are diagnosed today. But this comes at a great cost, both emotionally and financially. Circle of Care was founded several years ago by 3 women who understand what this means, because they have had children who have been cured of their cancer.
Hi, this is Liz Salguero calling from Circle of Care. Hi, how are you? Good. I got your email, and I just wanted to call and chat with you a little bit about Jake. How's he doing?
Circle of Care really made you feel like someone was looking out for you?
And tell me again, what is his diagnosis? He has an astrocytoma.
Liz, one of the founders of Circle of Care, she was calling me every day, probably for the first 3 weeks, just to check up on us.
Circle of Care was started about 5 years ago by myself and 2 other moms whose children also had cancer. And we met in a support group. We met talking to each other and sharing our experiences with each other and what it was like to go through this.
Circle of Care also organizes what's called a lifeline, where they have parents who have had children with the same diagnoses get in touch with these families. And that way these families who are newly diagnosed understand that they are not alone.
And we realized that there were so many resources out there and so many valuable things that were to be shared with other parents who are going through this experience that we wanted to create a way to bring that to families.
Cancer is non-discriminatory, so we have families who make millions of dollars and we have families who make nothing.
Do you want me to pay the just the rent bill for this month then? We have a little bit more money since we have a $1,500 cap and the rent is only $800.
Circle of Care helps these families by helping them financially for the multitude of out-of-pocket expenses that they have. It also helps them by distributing the Circle of Care bags, which are given out when their children are diagnosed.
They made their first point of contact with the Ratner family, that's us, on the day after our son was diagnosed with leukemia. I'll never forget the date. It was Monday, August 25th, 2008. What Circle of Care provided for us was this great big duffel bag that they call the Bag of Love. It has all your household items such as soft soap, bottles of water, granola bars, pillows that are made by loving families for our son that he had in the hospital for the first 8 days that he was there when he was first diagnosed.
We loan them laptop computers, and here's a letter from Mary to all of our Circle of Care friends.
Dear friends at Circle of Care, I just wanted to let you know that the Circle of Care Connections program has been up and running at CCMC. It's been a great success. We have many situations where your laptops have made a very positive impact on the patient's visit to us. They have helped entertain, educate, and made both inpatient and outpatient visits go by faster.
I didn't think that it could be done. But the three women that who did this have really done a tremendous job. And, you know, I have heard from so many families how much they appreciate what they have done, not only for their children, but also their siblings.
I play with kids in here, and we do crafts, and we play games, and lots of fun stuff. And then I also help design a room for a sick child every spring.
Art from the Heart is a program that started with one of my friends, Charlotte, and we got together about a group of 20 of our friends. We remake over the bedrooms of children who have cancer.
Now this is, what you're looking at now is our baseball room.
There was a little girl named Tatiana who was a patient here, and I helped design her room. She had a princess-themed room. It came out really cute. And also there's a boy named Andrew, and we designed a dinosaur room for him. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We got to like design the rooms, and then we got to go to the house and actually like paint them and move the furniture in, and just kind of see their great response. The kids like absolutely loved the rooms, and it was a great feeling.
To watch the joy in his face when the room was completed and with a dinosaur mural and dinosaur stuffed animals, and I mean his world was an oyster. It was great.
The second room that we did was a girl, Katie, and she was probably around maybe 5 years old. And she was talking about how she didn't want the color orange in her room because she reminded her of her medicine.
Like when I would first start doing this, or before I even started, like I would be like so worried about like random stuff that doesn't even matter like in my life, like if I did bad on like a test or something, and that would just be like the end of the world. But it's like you come here and like you see that life is like so much more than like all the small things that like you worry about, and it just gives you like a really great feeling once you like leave here. And the kids are just amazing.
Today's actually my first day. I got involved through peer advocates. I did that with Taffy.
For the kids, so much of it is that they take the gifts that they have in themselves and they just put themselves out there, and they absolutely learn how to be present to another human being, which means that they get to look at their own lives in a different way.
Also, when their children are finished with their chemotherapy, Circle of Care buys for these children an ice cream cake and some presents to celebrate what we call their end of chemo day, when they're finished and hopefully cured of their disease.